This is how I came to love my vagina. It's kind of embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I know it should have happened in the back, salt grains from the Dead Sea, India playing in the background, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful, and our self-hatred is only the internalized repression of the patriarchal system. It isn't real. Pussies, unite. If we've grown up in a culture where we were taught fat thighs are beautiful, we don't be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kreme donuts, spending our days lying on our backs, thighs expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture, and I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who had looked at it, and from that moment on, wish I had it. It made me sick. I pitied anyone who had to go down there. In order to survive, I began to imagine there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture. Cozy futons, pocket comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things like silk handkerchiefs, quilted pot holders, plate settings. I got so used to this, I lost all memory of having a vagina. And whenever a man was inside of me, I imagined him inside of a mink line muffler or a Chinese bowl. Then I met Bob. Woo! Bob, maybe that's him calling. Bob was the most ordinary man I have ever met. He was thin and tall and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. He didn't eat spicy food. He didn't listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent his time in the shade. He didn't share his inner feelings. He didn't have any problems. He wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't very funny or articulate or mysterious, mean or unavailable, self-involved or charismatic. He didn't even drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change that I dropped on the deli floor. And when he handed me back my quarters and pennies, our hands accidentally touched and something happened. I went to bed with him. That's when the miracle occurred. Turns out Bob loves vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled. But most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. First time we had sex, he told me he had to see me. Right here, I said. No, you, he said, I have to see you. Turn on the light. I said, thinking he was a weirdo and freaking out in the dark. He turns on the light and says, okay, I'm ready. Ready to see you. Right here, my man. Right here. Then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I need to see you, he said. No need, I said, just do it. I need to see what you look like, he said. But you've seen a red leather couch before. Bob continued. He wouldn't stop. I just wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, Bob. Can't we just do it? No, he says, it's who you are. I need to look. I held my breath, and he looked. And he looked. He got all breathy and his face started to change. He didn't look so ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You are so beautiful, he said. Elegant, deep, innocent, and wild. You saw all that there? It was almost like he read my poem. I saw that, he said, and much, much more. He stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, or staring into my eyes. But it was my vagina. I began to watch him in the light, looking at me. He was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way Bob saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. And Bob, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell. I began to feel proud. I began to love my vagina. Ow! And Bob, he was there. And I was there with him. In my vagina. And together, we were gone.